tryna crit neck on her big neck. Mine is selling crit neck for the stick neck. And I got a big neck for the chit chat. Drop out. Drop it on my car.
Recline, so I had to let back the seat. Pull out and she sucked it, I nut all over her mood.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We continue our lesson on the undetermined coefficient method, where now we are going to discuss about the case 2, where case 2 is your fx is an exponential function. And when we talk about exponential function, it must be in the form of CEKX. Your fx must be in the form of CEKX. It cannot be CEKX to the power of n. Okay, it must be in the form of CEKX only, where C and K are constants. Okay, when we talk about the non-homogeneous solution for second order linear differential equation with constant coefficient when you have fx is non-zero. So let's say we want to apply the undetermined coefficient method with case 2. Okay, the solution is always y equals to yh plus yp. YH comes from the homogeneous solution, while your YP, we must always consider what is the type of your fx. So when your fx is in the form of CEKX, our initial guess of our solution YP must be in the form of CEKX. C is C. Do not follow what is the number here in your question, but you need to write down C as C, constant, exponent is exponent, and K will follow whatever K that you have in your question, plug in your initial guess, and then times with X, so that we have the initial guess of CEKX, and then we have X to the power of R, okay, R from 0, 1 and will end at 2, so the function of X to the power of R is just to determine whether you have the similar term in your solution YP and your solution in homogeneous solution. Okay, so let's consider the question here. Solve the following differential equation by using undetermined coefficient method. Okay, so we have y double prime minus y prime minus 2y equals to 6e negative x. Note that our a is 1, B is negative 1, and C equals to negative 2, and our fx is non-zero, 6e negative x. Okay, since we have constant coefficient of second order with the fx is non-zero, which is we have the non-homogeneous equation, so that we can apply the method of undetermined coefficient. Okay, so in order to solve for this question by using the undetermined coefficient method, we know that this one is in the form of case 2, which is CEKX. Our C here is just C, okay? Our K is negative 1 here, right? So now let's try to solve for this one. So the solution would be y equals to yh plus yp. We need to start finding the solution with yh. Okay, YH, we must equate our fx to 0 first. Okay, and then we have y double prime minus y prime minus 2y equals to 0. Then we need to transform in the form of characteristic equation first before we try to find the roots and the solution of homogeneous equation. Let's say we have this one is m. You can always check b squared minus 4ac, is it greater, equals, or less than 0. Okay, otherwise we can just try to factorize. Okay, so I have m is m squared, so 2 minus 1 is 2, so I have negative n plus here, so that I have negative m. So I would say that my solution is my roots are m1 is negative 1 and m2 is positive 2. Okay, so that I have two different roots, so my yh is ae negative x plus be2x. Okay, be2x. Alright, so let's see that this is the correct solution of yh. I hope that I didn't do any mistake in finding the roots as well as write down my yh. Okay, so now we want to find what is our yp. Okay, again, in order to find yp, please always write down what is your fx. Our fx is 6e negative x. Okay, so we know that this one is in the form of case 2. So we can write down our initial guess first, x to the r, and then we have ce. Just follow what is our k. Our k is negative 1. So negative 1 times x is negative x. Okay, and then we continue. Alright, so we have r from 0, 1, and 2. We must always start with r equals to 0. Okay, start finding with r equals to 0, so that when r equals to 0, my yp would always be x power of 0 is 1. So I have ce negative x. Then as the previous example in case 1, I say that whenever you try to write down your initial guess, okay, then you stop for a while and then you try to compare the solution that you have obtained previously in your YH. Do not compare with your question. We need to compare solution to solution. Okay, then the previous solution is YH, and I note that I have ce negative x in here, so that I cannot say that this is my correct initial guess. So what I need to do is I need to proceed with r equals to 1. When r equals to 1, I have yp equals to, so I substitute here when r equals to 1 here, so that I have to multiply x inside. So I have cx e negative x. Then I stop for a while and then I try to compare again with my YH. Does cx e negative x similar to any solution or similar to any term in the solution of YH? Tak ada kan? So kita ada AE negative X and BE negative 2X. So that bila tak ada term yang sama, when there is no similar term in your YP and YH, so that we can say this is our correct initial guess. So hold this one as your solution, but we need to find out what is C, because this is Y particular, right? So we need to find what is our C. So again, we need to find the first derivative and second derivative. Okay, so we have Cx and E negative, so we need to apply the product rule. So we have Cx E negative X negative. Okay, this is our U, this is my V. Remain my U and then differentiate this one, so that I have negative Cx E negative X, and then plus our V, which is E negative X, and then differentiate Cx with respect to X, so we have C. Okay, then we continue again here. Okay, we have to remain Cx, differentiate E negative X will give us negative E negative X, so this one becomes positive. Okay, and then plus E negative X, differentiate negative Cx, we will get negative C. Okay, so we have negative C, and then differentiate again this one, so we have negative C E negative X. So let's try to simplify this one. So I have Cx E negative X, and then we have negative 2C E negative X. Okay, once we have completed finding our first and second derivative, what we need to do next is we need to substitute into our question in order to say that this is our correct initial guess. Okay, sebab kita kena buktikan. Macam mana cara nak buktikan? Kita kena masuk dalam, kita kena masukkan semua apa yang kita jumpa ni dalam kita punya soalan. So kalau left hand side equals to right hand side, therefore that is our correct initial guess lah. Okay, so this is our question. Y prime minus 2y equals to 6e negative x. Okay, so do it, please do it carefully. So y double prime is Cx e negative x minus 2e negative x. Okay, this one is y double prime, so substitute, so we get this one. So minus y prime is this one, so minus is positive, Cx e negative x minus C e negative x, and then minus 2y, right? So minus 2Cx e negative x equals to 6e negative x. Let's try to simplify whatever term that we have. Okay, so we have x e negative x. Macam mana cara saya nak collect the same term? Kita tengok apa saja constant yang kita ada, apa di sebelah dia tu, itulah term yang kita nak cuba simplifykan. Okay, so itu yang kita nak collect and simplify. So sebelah c ni we have x e negative x. So saya cuba nak collect, so saya ada c, and then ini pun sama. Okay, so saya ada negative c, so minus c. Ada lagi tak? So ada lagi. So this one is minus 2c. So I hope that kita masukkan nilai yang betul di sini. Okay, so y double prime is this one, minus y prime is minus y prime is this one is should be positive, right? So this one is plus, sorry, x, this one is plus cx, so minus 2c kan. Okay, so equals to, ada tak term x e negative x dekat sebelah kanan? Tak ada kan? So yang bila tak ada, so kita equate to 0. Kita tengok c tambah c is 2c, minus 2c is 0. So kita tak boleh kata c equals to 0. So we just put this one for x e negative x. Okay, and then we have this one is c, right? Okay, so untuk e negative x, term e negative x, we have negative 2c, okay, minus c, okay, dah tak ada, so equals to, sebelah kanan we have 6. So we can say that we have negative 3c equals to 6, therefore c equals to negative 2. So when c equals to negative 2, we plug in into our yp. Okay, so that our final solution, the general solution would be y equals to yh plus yp. Yh is a e negative x plus, apa tadi just now? Okay, be2x, sorry. Okay, so we have be2x, and then we have minus 2. Minus 2 is your c. C, and then we have x e negative x, so we have x e negative x. Note that in our final solution of general solution here, okay, so sini kita ada e negative x, sini pun ada e negative x kan. Apa yang membezakan mereka adalah because of the existence of x. So maksudnya dalam final solution ni pun mesti tak ada yang samalah solution dia. Okay, so we can say that this is our correct general solution. Okay, so let's continue. Let's see. Okay, yang ni saya tak bagi contoh. Okay, sebab the method of solution is just the same thing. We need to find out YH, and then in order to find YP, kita kena always consider what is our fx, and then we try to do the initial guess and then differentiate twice, substitute again into your question, okay, and then find the constants. Then you need to write down your final solution of YP, and y equals to yh plus yp. That is your general solution lah. Okay, so let's say your yh is ae2x plus bex. Okay, and then your yp, your initial guess of yp, okay, let's say when r equals to 0, your yp is ce negative x. Adakah kita katakan YP ini sama dengan solution dekat dalam YH? Sama ke tak? The answer is tak sama, because of dekat sini your K is negative 1. Okay, but here you have EX, positive X. This one is negative X. So that we can say that this is our correct initial guess. Sebab tak ada term yang sama dalam YP dan YC. So please be careful when you check with your solution in YP or initial guess of YP and the solution that you have obtained previously in your YH. Okay, so for the next video, we will discuss the case 3. Thank you, class.